Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. We are live tonight on a Sunday. Welcome to Tonight in America. I'm your host, Downstairs Jones. Welcome to a wonderful Sunday night. I hope everyone's had a great day today on the day of worship, of course. We are tonight covering the case of Tristyn Bailey, our first in all true crime series. Where every Sunday from this day going forth, it's going to be a true crime night. We are not going to be doing politics on Sunday no more going forth. So I want to welcome everyone into the stream tonight. It's a joyous day, or should be a joyous day. So I want to remind everyone to smash the like button, leave a comment, let me know how you like the stream today. Give me some feedback, whatever. Let me know what I can improve on. Let me know if the mic sounds great. And yeah, the clips on TikTok are blowing up right now. Especially one clip's doing got 5,000 plus likes right now with views, and the likes are going up and up and up right now. The clips on YouTube are also doing great numbers right now too as well. Should be doing far better in my opinion, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. So I want to welcome everyone to the stream tonight. Before we get into our coverage of this tragic case of a young person losing their life, I want to touch upon something that happened. This happened around August, but it's just getting a lot of media attention. So I'm gonna move my screen over. As you can see, this is a Ukrainian woman, 23 years old, refugee. Irina, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her last name. So her name is Irina by first name, by a man. She was brutally murdered, brutally killed on a train station in August. This is by this guy right here, D. Carlos Brown Jr. on a train in Charlotte, North Carolina. Not getting more immediate. Why? And this is from Piers Morgan's X account. Why is this disgusting, senseless, unprovoked murder of a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee by a man named D. Carlos Brown Jr. on a train in North Carolina not getting more media attention? A good question. Why is it not? Oh, because it's just blatant racism against white people. It's blatant anti-white rhetoric that the media keeps pushing over. But let's say roles were reversed. This was a black woman and this was a white guy that did this. This would be make mainstream media coverage, and there would be riots right now in the streets. This poor, peaceful soul, this beautiful woman right here, lost her life to this despicable animal. This despicable animal was left out. This guy has been arrested multiple times and been let off multiple times by a judge. And not surprising, the judge is a black woman too. Let him off repeatedly, multiple times. And then he goes out back into the world and does this. This is our justice system. This is the world America set up with. Like, when is there going to be some ounce of accountability right now? This is heartbreaking. The video is really disturbing to look at. This, when are your quote unquote black leaders are going to call this shit out for once? And just make some excuse for this and say, oh, he's not cool, whatever. These FBA guys are probably gonna come out here and say, "Well, he's not one of us. He's not one of us. He's a tether. We can't have this guy. He's wrong. We can't have this guy take accountability, bruh." The point of the matter is, this woman lost her life just minding her business, and her life was just taken away by this disgusting, subhuman garbage. This is a man right here is unfit for being in a civilized society, and yet he came out and killed this woman for nothing. When are and the system always telling you that white people were always the ones that were doing the discrimination, doing the killings of blacks. Oh, they want to wipe out all black people. they're the most violent ones. They're the ones that everyone should be scared of. Whites are colonizers. Whites are pure evil. They're Nazis. They're fascists. And yet you see shit like this every day on your 5 o'clock news, and you wonder why. Hey, maybe there is some justification for what the way they felt all the time about blacks. You see shit like this. This is very, very heartbreaking. This is disgusting. We're gonna move over to Benny Johnson because he covered it. He's one of the few that cover this right now. I made a video about this. This video dropped 1 day ago.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. We cannot carry on like this. There's something horrific.
I agree. We cannot carry on a society like this. Like, I can see why whites are asking for segregation against blacks, bro. I wouldn't even want to live next to these people, bro. Like, bro, what is going on right now, man, with this crime rate?
Horrifically broken in American society. This is a Ukrainian refugee. She's a young woman working in Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, born in Ukraine, fleeing the war. She's working a hourly wage job at a pizza place, gets on the light rail, and gets stabbed directly in the throat by a career criminal who then wanders around dripping blood all over the bus. Nobody does anything as she bleeds
That's
out.
the most shocking part, is that everyone just literally didn't even do nothing, didn't even stop and pretend like it didn't even happen. You see, look at these people, like they're not even really reacting to this woman who just got stabbed in front of their faces. What the fuck's going on? What is going on? This is just disheartening right now, man. And they wonder why every time the stereotypes exist. You know, if the FBI, if the National Guard, if the police go into neighborhoods to go arrest criminals, which neighborhoods do you think they're gonna go into and arrest majority of the violent criminals? It's always the black neighborhoods. And who's doing majority of this? It's the black men. But the problem is, no one's being held accountable for these crimes. This is despicable. This is disgusting, man. This woman literally fled a war-torn country just to come to a neighborhood in Charlotte, North Carolina, and got killed in a far dangerous setting compared to being literally in literal war. It was far safer for her in Ukraine, which is engulfed in war, compared to being in North Carolina. What the fuck is going on? This is such a thing is called black fatigue and is rising right now. It's such a thing as black fatigue and is rising. People are just fed up with black crime because there's no accountability. No one's being held accountable. They got a culture that just push more and more degeneracy. They have music that pushes more of this garbage and inflict. And the crazy thing about it, whites can listen to the music and they not be affected by it at all. But hey, say a fucking black guy listens to a music about a guy going rap about selling drugs, killing somebody, or beating his woman, he'll do it at 100%. At some point, we just have to say it's just a genetic IQ thing. That's at some point you just have to admit it. This is more than just a race thing. This is just a lack of soul, a lack of IQ, lack of everything.
Out. An absolutely overwhelmingly horrifying and stunning video.
As you can see, the video, I can't show the other video because for YouTube purposes, I'm glad Benny has this censored version of it. But yeah, that knife was covered with so much blood. So much blood. It was disturbing to look at that. This woman right here didn't deserve to lose her life, man. She already escaped a dangerous field just to come into an even far more dangerous field. And the crazy thing about it, she didn't lose her life in Ukraine during an active war, but she lost her life in Charlotte, North Carolina, where there's a bunch of dumb niggas like him walking around and doing shit like this.
This man has been incarcerated 14 different times.
14 times this man has been locked up. And you telling me he's been let off every time? He committed robbery with a dangerous weapon before, was one of his charges. This man supposedly has mental health issues, whatever the fuck that means. He should have been locked up. What are these fucking judges, these fucking people that are supposed to be enforcing the laws? What are these governments doing? What are these institutions even doing to keep these people locked away? This is crazy to me.
And now he's murdered. And all of it was preventable. All of it. Haunting video shows homeless ex-con allegedly kill Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina train. Irina Zastruka, who fled war-torn Ukraine.
Last name Irina Zetshuka. Couldn't pronounce her name at first. I'm not fluent in Ukrainian names like that. I barely can pronounce Russian names, but I'm learning more about how to pronounce the names correctly. I don't like to pronounce people's names if I get it wrong. Her name is Irina Zepstruka. That's how you pronounce it.
Ukraine for safer life in America, right? The greatest nation on earth, was driving the Lynx Blue Line, was riding on the Lynx Blue Line before 10 p.m. on August 22nd when she was ambushed and she was stabbed by a homeless ex-con. The surveillance video shows that Zastruka boarded the train in her pizzeria uniform, sitting on the phone, unaware of the danger behind her. 34-year-old DeCarlos Brown Jr. whips out a folding knife and lunges forward, stabbing her 3 times, at least once in the neck, police say. The chilling video then appears to show Brown walking through the rail car, stripping off his sweatshirt and waiting by the doors as passengers begin to notice blood dripping from him. She grabbed her neck as blood spilled onto the train floor, collapsed in the seat, and was pronounced dead by the light rail investigators. Police said Brown got off at the next stop. The folding knife later recovered near the platform. He was treated at a hospital for a cut on his hand, taken into custody for a murder charge. He was treated at a hospital for a cut on his hand, taken into custody for a murder charge. It took 6 minutes for which noticed the transit security guards on the train. Arrest dating back to 2011, was charged with first-degree murder. His record includes larceny, robbery with a dangerous weapon, communicating threats, according to records, 14 different arrests. The suspect is homeless and once served 5-year prison for the robbery with a deadly weapon. Why is he out on the street?
Yes.
Why has he been set out on the street? During the incident, officers said he bizarrely claimed a man-made material inside of his body was controlling him as he ate and walked and talked, according to an affidavit. Okay, so he's demonically possessed. Some people are unfit for society.
Guys, this guy's definitely unfit for society. This guy's just should have never even been let back out. What are these lawmakers doing, man? What are they doing? Are we even a serious country right now? Can people not even walk around in the streets at night and not have to worry about the lights being taken away? This is just insane to me that people have to live like this. Nobody should have to live like this. Nobody. But yet these fucking imbeciles have violence on their fucking minds every fucking day. They always got violence on their mind. These guys can't think of nothing else besides just being violent. Fucking crazy to me. People don't want to live like this no more. It's enraging to be like this, and none of these black leaders, these Tariq Nasheeds, these Umar Johnsons, don't want these people to take accountability at all. It's always someone else's fault. It's never the person they look in the mirror every fucking day when they step outside the house's fault. Always blacks, there are ones that wake up every day. I just woke up the other day, someone around here, Louisiana, a black guy shot somebody already. Again, another one. You wake up every day, turn on your 5 o'clock channel, the local channel news, always a black guy shooting somebody. It's never fails.
This monster is clearly one of them. This was a...
And the dumb thing about it is, once you try to hold them accountable, especially like me, call them accountable. Oh, well, you're partially black. That still doesn't defeat what I'm saying, you ignoramus. Anyone can say the truth. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't take a mathematician to tell you 2 plus 2 equals 4. What the fuck is going on? It's just like, bro, it's just like nothing registers in their mind. They think they're saying, well, who you supposed to play? It doesn't matter. The truth is still the truth regardless of who says it. But just black people can't register this in their fucking imbecile brains that they just have to still, and black people can't register this in their fucking imbecile brains that they just have to still indulge in this stupid activities and no one can be held accountable. This is disgusting, man. Crime has got to get under control. And if Trump plans on sending the National Guard to all the cities, all the major metropolitan cities across the United States, he needs to do so immediately because this needs to get under control. This is disgusting.
Premeditated racial hate crime. That's what this was. This man should have never been on the streets. He should have been incarcerated for the rest of his life, either in an asylum or in prison. He's unfit for society. All of society is generally peaceful. There's a small percentage, depending on which stats you want to look at, a very small percentage that does all the crimes. And we continue to release that small percentage, libs, specifically in liberal cities like Charlotte, a red state with a liberal city, okay? Just like Chicago is a liberal city in a red state. New York, all of New York State is red. Red state with a liberal city, okay? Just like Chicago is a liberal city in a red state. New York, all except for this one blue city that ruins everything for everyone. Onto the street to terrorize the rest of us. Again, it's like 2 to 3% of society's, that's probably even a big number, but 2 to 3% of society are like the career criminals. Maybe like 1%, I don't know. It's this small de minimis number that if you were to just lock them up permanently, that you would get rid of all crime. You'd get rid of all of the psychotic, demonic, senseless, whatever you want to call this. I hate people calling it senseless because this is clearly a premeditated murder by somebody who's demon possessed. Someone who's possessed. I don't care. I'm not blaming anything other than this deserves like a public execution after he's found guilty of this, right?
So, yes, this, I agree 100% with Betty. This needs to be a public execution. This just needs to be something. This needs to be the awakening call for all criminals across America, all black criminals that want to think about committing crime, whatever. This needs to be known in front of. They need fear. They need to stoke the fear inside of them. They need that because they're not gonna stop doing the shit they're doing unless they have it inside their minds that fear sets in. You do a crime like this is what can happen to you. Like, we need to be a serious country again. You know what some of them want to do? They want to deport some of you back to Africa. That's what some of them want to do. Even though most of you have never been to Africa, as far as I'm concerned, most of you have been here your entire life, but you talk like you've been in Africa, even though African blacks don't even want your ass there either. But you're sit up here and act like they give a shit about you over there in the quote unquote motherland. Your motherland's here. You've been born here. You've been here for generations. You need to act like actual upstanding human beings and not some degenerate scumbags like this and always blame racism on every fucking thing. Racism make you go stab and kill somebody? If that's what your logic comes to, then yeah, you definitely do not need to be in a civilized society. This is fucking crazy.
All on camera, and they won't release the full video. They won't release the full footage. This is so much worse than anything that happened to George Floyd. That's just a matter of fact. That's a matter of like absolute like base plain logic. George Floyd overdosed on fentanyl. That's what the autopsy shows.
Yeah.
That was a choice that was made. I'm angry about George Floyd. I'm angry that he was able to get his hands on fentanyl. I'm angry at the Communist Chinese Party in Mexico for smuggling the fentanyl in here. If you're looking for George Floyd's murderers, there they are. Be angry with me at those things. Applaud President Trump and his fight against narco-terrorism. This, on the other hand, is premeditated murder. Some of the cops with George Floyd, the cops were black.
Yeah.
Imagine fleeing a war zone, thinking you're finally safe, and then this happens. This
Yeah.
heinous violence has been normalized in America simply because the political elite are unwilling to do anything about the vanishingly small number of people responsible for it. No more. That's right. Weak
Yeah.
men create hard times.
Yeah.
Sadly, she was safer in war-torn Ukraine than on a city bus in America. Oh, it's just, this man is just such a monster. Matt Walsh with the take.
Even Matt Walsh says we can't keep living like this. The only solution is ruthless punishment. I agree. Public execution for violent criminals, long prison sentences, hard labor. This guy had multiple previous arrests. He should have been already serving 30 years in a labor camp. This is the only way. As our ancestors knew, we've tried compassion and um, resourceful justice, and this is the result. It was inevitable. That Walsh is actually being resortive. I mean, resorted justice, and this is the result. It was inevitable, as Matt Walsh has said. Like, bro, the only way out this is, I hate to say it, is completely and utterly complete absolute punishment. Not to give a long wordplay for that one, but punishment is necessary. Ruthless punishment is necessary, and the only way we're gonna get this shit under control, we enforce our laws and lock them the fuck up. This got to stop. This has got to stop. This is getting out of control, bro. People are tired of this bullshit. But yet, all these people that are in charge, these fucking mayors, whatever, if it's a black person, they're always gonna show pity on these fuckers and let them back out. And then they do this, and then they take it as far as to kill somebody. And then, as a matter of fact, the leaders should be held accountable just as much as the criminal is. Whoever is at fault for letting this piece of shit out should have been jailed with him. That's the way I look at it.
Here. We can't keep living like this. The only solution is ruthless punishment, public execution for violent criminals, long prison sentences, hard labor. This guy had multiple previous arrests. He should have already been serving 30 years in a labor camp.
Yes.
This was the only way our ancestors knew. We've tried compassion and restorative justice, and this is the result. It was inevitable. Authorities released this footage. It's absolutely horrific. She was 23. She fled war-torn Ukraine, hoping to seek safety and a new beginning. And then America failed her. This is where the death penalty should be immediate. America failed her. This is where the death penalty should be immediate. The video tells us all that we need to know. That's exactly right. Instead, he'll probably spend the next 20 years appealing his death sentence, right? If he even gets one in North Carolina. Hey, Governor, care to comment on people being stabbed in the throat? No. The Democrats who run North Carolina won't say anything. It's a homeless.
So I was just looking at my phone. I'm on Facebook right now. And this is massive. So Rep Randy Fine is filing a bill to hold judges accountable when they release violent criminals who go on to kill. After the murder of Irene, of the Ukrainian woman in Charlotte, those 12 plus judges that released DeCarlos Brown Jr. should have their day in court too. It's easy to release criminals when they're protected by an armed bailiff. The rest of us aren't so lucky. This is long overdue. Judges who put killers back on the street should pay a price. I agree. This is long overdue to happen. A lot of these judges need to be held accountable for this bullshit. They're the reason that a lot of this stuff happens. So I agree 100%. And Randy finds a hardcore Zionist. We may agree when it comes to certain other things, but this right here, this can go a long way to actually help getting this country back on track. Like, this is one of the ways. Enforcing the laws and arresting the criminals is one way.
Career criminal is yet another example of why homelessness needs to be outlawed. It creates situations like this. That's exactly right. He also didn't pay
14
the fare
times is
on
crazy.
bus.
This guy was arrested and he still let
This is
that
like
guy.
why you crack down on crime, all crime. You crack down on petty crime because the petty crime leads to more crimes like this. He couldn't pay the fare to get on the bus. He shouldn't have been allowed on the bus. You can't pay the ticket, get off the bus. Look at all these arrests. Like after this arrest right here, then that means like 30 years in a hard labor camp. That's
yeah.
what our ancestors used to do. That's exactly right. Walsh is exactly right. 14 times arrested and let go. I beg them to let him out just one more time. There's some good old boys in South Carolina that want to talk to him.
Mm.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's not a Daniel Penny on every train. This is 1,000 times worse than what happened to George Floyd. That's exactly right.
Thanks.
You're just sitting there minding her own business. She had no
He
interaction with him
died. He
whatsoever.
died of fentanyl.
The two
This
didn't know
woman
each other.
died from a little
What
stabbing
compelled him to
on
murder her?
camera.
Well, we all know. We all know exactly what it was. We all know exactly what it was. She's a member of a group of people who are the most systematically oppressed and the single most systematically targeted and attacked group of people in the world. It is totally and completely permissible for this to happen. There won't be any outrage. There won't be any marches. There'll be nothing. The Ukrainian refugee flees the U.S., boards a train in Charlotte, North Carolina, sits down, and is killed from behind for no apparent reason. And he's allowed to wander around with blood dripping from him. White supremacy is the number one threat facing America, says Joe Biden. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Then
crazy.
we get videos like this like once a week.
You have to say, but it's just black supremacy. It has nothing to do with white supremacy. Don't let these fucking dumbasses tell you that these FBA, these black nationalist types, they're contributing to the problem.
Ukrainian refugees in the West stabbed to death, raped in Libya by a Libyan asylum seeker in Paris. 16-year-old Ukrainian girl pushed in front of a train by an Iraqi asylum seeker in Germany. Died from her wounds. There's a reason why so many Ukrainian women decided to remain in Poland, Czechoslovakia, and Lithuania. That's exactly right. Career criminal, bouncing in and out of jail like a revolving door. Why would we let low-life scumbags like this on our street? Homelessness must be illegal. Homelessness must be illegal. That's the only recourse. They just did this in Washington, D.C. You're not allowed to be homeless in D.C. You're not allowed to live in a tent on the street. This is what it creates. It's documented history of multiple arrests dating back. Roaming the streets is infuriating. Why was he allowed to roam the streets? Why was he allowed to roam the streets? Why? Again, there's the breakdown, like Ukrainian refugees being attacked and stabbed, like almost by something that is more dangerous than the war in Ukraine, for sure. Goodness, it's enraging. Zero riots, zero looting, zero outrage, zero protest, and maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe there should be some protests, right? These people should start like talking about this stuff. It's beyond ridiculous. This monster has not been permanently locked up. The state is responsible for her death. That's right. That's exactly right. It's always described as a senseless attack instead of what it really is, a premeditated hate crime against the single most systematically targeted and dehumanized population on the planet. It's racial barbarism. Weak men created this hell, and strong men must fix it. Yeah, this wasn't random. This was preventable. It's a war on white people. Her blood is on the hands of the system that lets violent criminals roam while innocent people pay the price. All of society is terrorized. Jesse Smollett's fake hate crime drew more media outrage than this. That's exactly correct. It's so enraging that the leaders of Charlotte now, the mayors of Charlotte, the feckless mayors of Charlotte, are just like saying, "Oh well,
Yeah, that's the mayor right there, actually.
This is the banger right here. Our society is held hostage by a teeny minority of violent antisocial degenerates. What makes it all the more infuriating is that it doesn't have to be like this. We could have all of those criminals off the street permanently in the span of a few weeks if we just had the will." Time for the will. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm very sorry for this person's family. We should have the will to fix our society.
Let me see if I can find this right quick.
You take like the 1% of career criminals off the street, and that solves an enormous amount of your crime.
Yeah, it does. Hold on a second. Put my ugly mug back up here for a minute. I want to show everyone exactly all the people that are involved in this stuff right here. I want every one of these motherfuckers to be held accountable. So this is the mayor right here. Breaking in a statement on the Charlotte Light Rail incident, Democrat Mayor V. Lyles insists the city cannot arrest our way out of issues like this, failing to mention the victim even once and showing more concern for the perpetrator's homeless status. It's always, and they mad when whites use tribalism and want to be more tribal now, or any other race want to be tribal. But when blacks do it, they let off career criminals to go out here and commit these atrocious acts even more. This is what you get. This is literally what you get. Hold on. I want to show her entire cabinet. I want to show all of her members of her cabinet. You can, and you want to. Well, actually, this one's actually important too. So this is the judge that let D Carlos off. Literally, Teresa Stokes. It's been revealed that the same judge who last released D. Carlos Brown Jr., Magistrate Judge Teresa Stokes, is also the director of operations at a treatment facility in Charlotte. And he asks right here, it's funny, he asks this question: is it starting to make sense yet? It's very much starting to make sense why she let him off. She's trying to rehabilitate this guy. This guy was beyond his rehabilitation. This guy should have never even been let off. This no, not even God. This piece of garbage should have never even been let out. This piece of trash should have never even saw the light of day. And yet he did. This fucking bitch right here is the reason he did. It's fucking sickening, man. Hold on a second. I want to show her. And Trump also did make a comment too as well about this. He did make a comment about this, so I'm going to try to find that right quick for everyone. Trying to see where I saw a. I should have saved it. Should have bookmarked it. But there was a picture of her entire members of her cabinet. Hmm. So this is funny. According to the Wall Street Journal, House Speaker Mike Johnson has walked back his claim that President Trump served as an FBI informant of Jeffrey Epstein. I know I'm in the middle of dealing with this, but that's actually kind of funny that I saw that. I saw that too not too long ago, and I'm like, of course he did. Of course he did. Yeah, they're really going in on this woman right now. This one, and she damn sure deserves this because this is her fault. This is what happens when you actually put women. Like, there's two things that would have kept her alive: her being racist and her and misogyny. And the reason why I say misogyny is that if women didn't have rights, this would have definitely kept this woman alive. Like, because Mayor Laos would have never been in power. If this was a man in charge, this would have never even happened. And another reason she was a racist, not saying racial hatred, but saying that if she was a stereotype, and she would have known not to sit next to this guy. Oh, not definitely not in front of him, with your back turned to this guy, because you would have been stabbed in the neck, just like what happened. That was two reasons, two things right there could have saved her life. Two things could have saved her life. Trying to find out exactly where is her entire cabinet. Because where's all the members? I'd seen the photo earlier, and I'm not even shocked. Majority of all her members in her cabinet, her mayor office, majority all black. I'm not even shocked. That's what they do. Instead of employing the competent people that are gonna not show sympathy for these people, she employs, you know, one of her own. So if I can't find it, we're just gonna move on. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about today. So I'll just go ahead and leave it right there. I'll probably go a little bit more over it tomorrow because this is just like infuriating. Like X is going on a war path right now. Hold on, I have to move on because I can't find it. I might go. This judge right here deserves to have lawsuits brought upon her. So we're moving on for right now. Even Elon Musk is calling this out, bro. He's really just like, bro. Everyone's just like calling this out because everyone has fatigue, man. This is just insane to me. This level of the level of fatigue is reaching levels I've never seen before in all my life. This this is just like this crime wave has gotten out of control. Level of the level of fatigue is reaching levels I've never seen before in all my life. This this is just like this crime wave has gotten out of control. It's just got out of control. We just there needs to be some law and order. Where are the government to come in here? Where's the institutions to come in here and enforce the laws, man? It's like they're not doing nothing. They're letting everyone die. Who are affected more is white people who are always affected. Even black people are affected because we live around the violent criminals. That's me put myself in that, and that's me put myself in the black person's shoes right there. You know, I am partially black, so I put myself in that stance. But this is, anyways. Moving on. All right. So we're gonna move on to our coverage of our first of many true crime stories. So we have the murder of Tristan Bailey. The murder of Tristan Tyne Bailey took place in early hours of May 9th, 2021, on Mother's Day in St. Johns County, Florida, United States. Tristan Bailey, January 18th, 2008 to May 9th, 2021. A 13-year-old middle schooler and cheerleader was murdered by Aiden John Fauci. Born November 6, 2006, a 14-year-old schoolmate, Bailey was reported missing by her family that morning. Her body was found later that day by a resident in a wooded area near St. John's. Her body had 114 stab wound. Wow. This is Tristan Bailey right here in 2021 before a murder. It's a sad. This is a sad tale of a sad story. The guy, Anthony Fauci, the kid, well, at the time when he was a young guy, he had a lot of mental problems, a lot going on in his head. He apparently he said he heard voices in his head talking to him, demons. He had demonic drawings of stuff. His ex girlfriend or current, I believe it was current girlfriend. I'm not sure. I believe it was his ex girlfriend said that he always talked about stabbing. He played stabbing. He played playfully like made it seem like he was like playfully stabbing her. He pulled out like his pocket knife and like made it look like he was trying to stab her, but he quote unquote was playing with her. He always talked about he told one of his friends before the murder happened that he was going to stab somebody, and he actually told him that when it's going to happen around this time, and obviously speaking, his victim, sad enough, was Tristan Bailey. This was a tragic tale to read about. So the court documents I don't have access to, of course, but I had to manage to compile a bunch of notes together and stuff like that. So pull my mug up. Let me grab my notes right quick. Like I said, we already been over the victim's name. You know, the incident took place on May 9th, 2021. The perpetrator was Anthony Sean Fauci. He was 14 at the time. The schoolmate too at Patriot Oaks Academy lived nearby. So the details of the crime: Bailey was reported missing by her family at 9 a.m. after a sibling found her absent from her room. Like I said, like I already read in the Wikipedia article, uh, body discovered around 6 p.m. by a resident in a wooded area near the pond on the Saddlestone Drive. Autopsy revealed 114. That's what he was saying. He stabbed her 114 times. He stabbed her so many times. 49 defensive, indicating she fought back. That was the most heartbreaking part. There was no evidence of that he sexually assaulted her. He just brutally stabbed and murdered her. He tried to fight him off, and it wasn't good enough. And she lost her life in the process. A buck knife with a missing tip was found in a pond near the body. The tip was lodged in Bailey's scalp, confirmed by forensic analysis. Surveillance footage showed Bailey and Fauci walking together at 1:45 a.m. Fauci returned alone at 3:27 a.m. carrying shoes. It was a blood on his jacket. He had a bloody jacket. His shoes had blood on it. And then this is the most disturbing part right here. This is the most disturbing part. So the little bastard wrote this. He did this to both her ankles, right and left ankle. So on her left ankle, he wrote karma, most likely in blood. He wrote this on her ankle. Then on her right ankle, a smiley face. He wrote a smiley face on her ankle. This is just disturbing. This is disturbing. So although the investigation is Fauci arrested on May 10th, 2021, initially charged with second degree murder, upgraded to first degree murder on May 27th. Evidence at Fauci's home: bloody clothes, uh, wet Nike shoes, blood and dirt in bathroom sink drain, wet jeans, empty knife sleeve, notebook with violent drawings, some with satanic elements. Like I mentioned earlier, he had a bunch of satanic drawings and imagery depicting what was this first sign of just like completely like something altogether just demonic. If I have to put it in just simpler in a simpler term, Fauci Snapchat post. This is the crazy thing about it. This little bastard was in the backseat of a police car, and he was taking Snapchat photos and pretending like he didn't know that he just killed her the night prior. Well, not even the night prior. That he didn't even know that he killed her. But this took place on May 9th. Fauci was arrested on May 10th. So yeah, he was arrested the next day after. Fauci took a Snapchat photo in the back seat of the police cruiser, and then he captioned it, "Hey guys, has anybody," he didn't even spell anybody right, "seen Tristyn lately?" With a peace sign drew suspicion. Like he was literally just playfully just acting like his soullessness behavior. Like he didn't just murder somebody the night prior. Fauci's ex-girlfriend and friends reported his fascination with violence, including prior statements about wanting to stab someone in the woods. It's wow. This was like a early signs of this kid not being all there mentally. This kid had it in his mind that I am going to kill someone. So like I said, and then as my notes go on here, legal proceedings. Fauci pleaded guilty to first degree murder on May 6, 2023, just before trial, sentenced to life in prison on March 24th, 2023, by Judge R. Lee Smith, eligible for review after 25 years due to juvenile status. So, because he was a juvenile, he was being charged as an adult. So, when he's charged as a juvenile, the case can be revisited when he becomes of age and becomes a adult. So, obviously was revisited. So Judge Smith called the crime uh, heinous, atrocious, and cruel, noting no motive beyond Fauci's internal desire to feel what it was like to kill someone. During sentencing, Bailey's sister Alexis dropped 114 aqua stones into a jar to represent stab wounds. That's how many times he stabbed her. So I'm gonna have like a we're gonna react to some of his trial. I believe this was like day two when his father, when Bailey's father and mother both gave their closing statements. I got it right here. Or gave their victim impacts. I mean, so and then the sister, she had brought up there a glass, and then every time she was speaking, she dropped a bunch of hearts in there to represent the times that Fauci had stabbed her sister. It was 114 times. She dropped 114 hearts in there. It was kind of hard for all the family, especially the mother. It was very, very hard for her because she had to bury her own daughter because this guy right here killed her daughter. This one right here was really the one that kind of like just. I'm not shocked because families tend to always do this. They tend to always have pity for, especially because this is Fauci's grandmother. So his grandmother said, and I quote, Fauci's grandmother pleaded for leniency, claiming some good in that Aiden. His mother, Crystal Smith, his mother, Crystal, was charged actually because she was trying to wash away the evidence. And she was caught on camera doing so because they had cameras inside the house. And on camera, she was washing away his jeans and the bloody jacket to try to erase evidence that he didn't murder Tristyn. So Crystal Smith charged with evidence tampering. I believe she served like, let me see. No, she served some time. Much time did she serve? see. Okay, so she was sentenced to 30 days in prison. So she was sentenced to like 30 days in prison for doing that. Obviously speaking, because you're tampering with evidence, and that's a big no-no. So the impact: Bailey's family, known as the Bailey Seven, expressed profound grief. Described Tristyn as a energetic, kind, and impactful. Community response included support for the Tristyn Bailey Foundation. They started a foundation for which helped pass Senate Bill 404 in Florida to restrict release of minor crime scene photos. So basically, this was basically enacted so that where they can't show like photos of a minor's dead body in court or release it to the public at all. And that's actually a great thing. I know it would be kind of hard for the family to even really watch this. So we're gonna move over. This is by pull up on screen. So this is Coffee House Crime. This is from them. This is his coverage of the Tristyn Bailey's case. We're gonna react to this video right here. It's only like 19, 22 minutes. Then we're gonna go over and look at the video footage of the night that Tristyn was with Anthony walking to that little wooded area where he killed her at.
On Mother's Day of 2021, in a peaceful suburb of Jackson, Florida, a young woman vanished from her home overnight. With distraught parents and a frantic community, officers and volunteers alike gathered to search for the now missing Tristyn Bailey. But what they would come to find would be just as shocking as unbelievable. Welcome back to Coffee House Crime. My name is Adrian, and today we're talking about the case of Tristyn Bailey and Aiden Fucci. If you're a parent, this case may deeply concern you. There is only so much we can do to keep our children safe from trouble. And all the same, this case confirms our greatest fears. By the way, I post solved, unsolved, and strange cases here on a weekly basis, so if that sounds like your kind of thing, please consider subscribing to Coffee House Crime. So with that said, pull up a seat, grab a coffee, and sit back. This is the case of Tristyn Bailey. Today's story takes us down to South Florida. Naming the obvious, the Sunshine State is famous for its oranges, beautiful weather, and variety of theme parks. But for now, we're avoiding the tourist city of Orlando, and instead flying over to Florida's northern city of Jacksonville. With a city centre population of 1 million residents alone, Jacksonville is the state's largest by population. It's a rich city with many large-scale companies calling it home, as well as a busy port serving both military and civilian needs, both of which bring plenty of jobs, opportunity, and income to the area. People choose Jacksonville for its abundance of leisure and lifestyle options, and the city boasts the largest urban park system in the US, allowing people to take part in activities from boating and fishing to surfing and water skiing. And after spending time in the sun, it's
Florida is definitely a very beautiful place. I mean, I don't know if how many people that are probably watching the stream right now have been to Florida, but I mean, I recommend it's a very, very beautiful place. Great place to live too as well, if you can afford it, of course. But there's like low income areas, but a lot of blacks there. I don't know if you want to take that chance.
It's easy to relax in the laid-back atmosphere of Jax's many eateries and craft breweries. It is no wonder why people wish to settle here in Jacksonville. And our case today takes us south of the city to St. John's, an affluent suburb popular with families and veterans looking for a chilled-out lifestyle. And here we find the home and family of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey. Tristyn was born on the 18th of January 2008 to her mother Stacy and father Forrest. She was the newest and final addition to the family, the youngest of 5 siblings. And the family of 7 lived in a large house on Cloister Bain Drive.
She was born in Singapore, so she wasn't even born in the States. So she was born in a different country before. They moved back to the States and moved to Florida.
A cul-de-sac with perfectly manicured gardens and red-flagged mailboxes at the end of every driveway. A middle-class suburb where arguably not much goes wrong. The family were tight-knit and would affectionately refer to themselves as the Bailey Seven. It's from Tristyn's loving home that she attended the local school, Patriots Oaks Academy, where she studied, socialized, and enrolled into the school's cheerleading squad. Tristyn was extremely passionate about cheerleading, attending practices on the regular, and maybe a little too much, as apparently it sometimes got in the way of her studies. Loved by many, Tristyn was a sociable and outgoing young girl with a real zest for life. She was determined to be the best at everything she did, and she was well liked amongst her peers. She also loved to go to any events she could find in her local area, as naturally she wanted to be involved with the community. And on the first weekend of May 2021, this was no different. She wanted to go to a food truck event with a friend, and after asking her mum for permission, she was allowed if her friend's parents picked them up. This came and passed by as intended, and besides meeting a few new faces, the event was rather uneventful. Tristyn then returned home and went to bed, thus concluding a Friday night. The next day played out like any other Saturday, all members of the family going about their usual weekend routines, with half of the family also visiting the older sibling's house for dinner. They returned home just before midnight, where Tristyn's sister walked in on her having a video call with a stranger. She didn't recognize him, but it was a boy wearing a white baseball cap. She didn't know who this boy was, but this wasn't out of the ordinary for Tristyn. She was a very sociable girl. She shut the door quietly behind herself, letting her sister Tristyn carry on with her call. And with that said, the family turned down for the night, everyone returning to their faithful beds akin to every usual Saturday. That was until the next morning. As 10 AM arrived, the family began their Sunday rituals. And being May the 9th, it was Mother's Day in the US. Everyone headed downstairs to wish their mother a happy Mother's Day. That is, everyone except Tristyn. She was nowhere to be found. Both Forrest and Stacy found this strange. Tristyn was usually one of the first to rise in the mornings. But maybe she had a late night on her phone, or perhaps maybe she...
The fact this happened on Mother's Day too is heartbreaking. It's very, very heartbreaking. The fact that a mother had to wake up on a day that celebrates all mothers of, America, that she has to wake up and realize her daughter was gone. Out of all the days it can happen on, it happens on Mother's Day. I know that really like tugged at the mother's heart a lot. Tugged at her emotional strains. It just like really just tear her apart. The fact that she had to bury her daughter.
She was having a lazy morning. They checked her room, but there were no signs of Tristyn, and after checking the rest of the house to no avail, they called her cell phone. There was no answer. The family began to worry. Obviously they knew their daughter very well, and this was extremely out of character for her. Whenever she had plans, she would tell her mother and father, and never just disappeared. With that said, the family knew something was deeply wrong. They wasted no time to inform the police. So at 10 AM on Mother's Day of 2021, the Bailey household called police to report their 13-year-old daughter, Tristyn, as missing. From the outset, police were concerned over the circumstances of Tristyn's disappearance. And of course, Stacy obliged to give all information that she had. To Stacy and Forrest's knowledge, Tristyn had never snuck out before. She was last seen by a sister at midnight, and was supposed to be in her bedroom. So where could she have gone? Police sprang into action in their investigation, getting in contact with Tristyn's friends, speaking to neighbours, and requesting surveillance footage from the local area. And eventually, they got a lead. As it turns out, according to Tristyn's friend, Tristyn had been speaking to a boy named Office Absher III, also known as Trey for short. Trey was quickly identified as a key part to the investigation, and after speaking to the 14-year-old boy, they concluded that Tristyn left her home on Cloister Bain Drive and walked over to Trey's house on Telford Drive. This was a planned operation by the teens, Tristyn approaching his home from the back to avoid setting off any surveillance cameras at the front of his property. It's at Trey's house that Tristyn met up with another 14-year-old boy who went by the name of Aiden Fucci. The three teens stayed at Trey's house for around half an hour, and in that time, Aiden had some marijuana to chill out. Trey also told officers that around 1 AM that night, Tristyn and Aiden left together, and that was the last time he saw or heard from Tristyn. It appeared that Trey was giving officers a genuine account of the night's events, and as a result, Trey was not considered to be a suspect in the investigation. But Aiden, on the other hand, was a different...
If you're in here and you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stuff like that too as well, and give some likes. And let me know how you're enjoying the stream so far. Went on a little bit of a rant earlier about that the Ukrainian refugee that got killed earlier about that animal. But we're on some true crime right now, so make sure you show some support to the channel.
Different story. Without any further delay, police made their way to Aiden's family home on Castledale Court. But despite this, he didn't seem fazed by all of the officers around him. In fact, he went as far to pose for a Snapchat video in the back of a police car, and even joked about Tristyn's disappearance.
We're having fun in a cop car.
Yep. Tristyn.
What's up, guys?
Fucking piece
Tristyn,
of shit,
and walk
bro.
out the damn. When you see this in a month,
It's in a cop car, cuz. She's tripping, dude.
Fucking
Upon
piece of
questioning the
shit.
teen, police were greeted by Aiden's mother, Crystal Smith. Crystal remained present throughout Aiden's questioning, and he would often turn to his mother for confirmation or support before he answered anything. Aiden confirmed that he and Tristyn had left Trey's house on Telford Drive before turning onto North Durban Parkway, which connected the three teenagers' houses. The two wandered along that road, and after getting to Cloister Bain Drive, the two parted ways shortly after 1 AM. So, according to Aiden, his walk home took 2 full hours. Which was odd, as he only lived 1.5 miles away from Trey, along a straight road. A walk that should have taken him half an hour at best. So, where did the other 90 minutes go? Deputy Maloney noticed this immediately, and after asking Aiden to clarify his timeline once again, he came up with an entirely different story. This time, Aiden said that he and Tristyn walked further up North Durban Parkway, where along the way, Tristyn apparently made an advance on Aiden, which he refused, and as a result, an altercation between the two began. During this argument, Aiden claimed that he then pushed Tristyn away, resulting in her falling to the ground and hitting her head on the roadside pavement. And supposedly, he then left Tristyn there on the cold sidewalk and took a walk by himself after the incident, returning home, as he said, at around 3:15 AM. Aiden then told police officers that Tristyn was planning to meet up with a 22-year-old drug dealer that she was talking to on Snapchat, who went by the name of Carlo. Carlo was eventually tracked down and questioned by authorities, and ultimately it was confirmed that he'd never met Tristyn that night. He had a rock-solid alibi. So, Aiden was caught lying in a statement twice, and with him being the last person to see Tristyn before she disappeared, the spotlight was drawing closer towards him. However, it was the evidence found in the following hours which would fully illuminate the situation, and unfortunately, shine a light over the neighbourhood's dark story. As the news of Tristyn's disappearance spread throughout the community, phone calls from tipsters and neighbours alike began to flood local authorities, some of which led to nothing significant, while others would prove to be invaluable. One substantial piece of information handed in to authorities was surveillance footage from a home surveillance system on Saddlestone Drive, located one road adjacent to Aiden's family property. In the early morning hours of the night Tristyn disappeared, the surveillance footage captured 2 individuals, thought to be Aiden and Tristyn, walking eastward together. With this camera further up the road from Tristyn's home, it was evident that Aiden had lied about leaving Tristyn earlier in his journey. 1.5 hours later, a single figure is seen running back in the opposite direction, with white sneakers in hand. Police had already obtained surveillance footage from multiple cameras found in Aiden's family home, and at 3:31 a.m, the hooded figure seen on Saddlestone Drive was also spotted walking barefoot through the front door, and he was still holding the white shoes as seen on earlier surveillance footage. The discovery was substantial evidence for St. John's police, as this gave them clear direction to look for Tristyn, and so the search was widened, with the surrounding community getting involved to help find her. Sadly, neither the police or search party team would find Tristyn. And instead, at 6 p.m. on Mother's Day, local police received a sad and harrowing call. While out on a jog around the local ponds, a man had found the body of a young girl, and that body was identified to be Tristyn Bailey. She had been left lying in the grass, only moments away from Saddlestone Drive, where she was captured by the surveillance footage. Tragically, Tristyn's body was found with 114 stab wounds across her entire body, 49 of which were located over her hands and arms, cold evidence that Tristyn had desperately tried to resist her attacker. Upon further investigation of the area, she was found alongside a cell phone, which had been left inactive since she last used it for a video call.
That's the sad part.
At 12 a.m, and found in the middle of the pond just 100 feet away, a folding army knife was retrieved. The knife's tip was snapped off, which was later found to be lodged in Tristyn's skull. Following the shocking discovery, Aiden was immediately arrested as a suspect and brought in for more questioning. Naturally, Aiden's parents demanded that he was allowed an attorney before speaking, and they told Aiden not to speak to any officers until they arrived. And although this makes legal sense, their next moves were rather stupid.
Yeah.
After arriving at the police station, Aiden's parents
They went into the interrogation room to go and try to have a conversation with him to try to so he could get his story straight, but they didn't realize the cameras were still rolling. And basically she admitted that the mother admitted she washed off some blood. That's the dumb part about this.
attended the same room that Aiden was being held in, and unbeknownst to them at the time, that room was being audio recorded, therefore picking up everything that was being said. She told Aiden that Tristyn was found in the neighborhood, to which he asked his mother if she was good. Crystal replied with, "No, she's dead. It's all on you right now." And Aiden responded, "How is it my problem?" Crystal asked Aiden where Tristyn went after he left her, Aiden stating that she probably kept walking. But Jason stopped the two carrying on in their conversation, saying, "We probably shouldn't be talking here." This is where the conversation becomes more suspicious.
You think?
Referring to the clothes that Aiden was wearing that night, Jason asked his son if anything would be found on them, in which Aiden replied with, "No sir." Shortly after this, Crystal then asked Aiden if he wore khakis or blue jeans. Aiden replied to say he wore blue jeans, in which Crystal asked again if Aiden was sure there was nothing on them. He replied with, "I don't think so. Why?" Crystal then gave Aiden a questioning look and whispered, "Blood."
Wow.
She tried to reassure Aiden with an alternative story.
That's what led
saying,
to her getting...
"When we looked on the camera, you were wearing khakis, right?"
That right there is what led to her getting 30 days in jail, by the way. That right there, that confession, saying that she washed off, it was blood on the jacket, the jeans, the shoes. Bam. That's what led to him getting that 30. That's what led to her getting that 30 days in jail.
Right? In which
But she basically admitted to tampering with evidence.
Aiden then indicated yes. Police officers were likely stunned as they watched this scenario unfold. They had already obtained and partially reviewed the Fuji household surveillance tape.
This is the inside their house. That's their camera footage inside their house. As you can see, the mother's right over here. She's washing his clothes off, trying to wash away the evidence, wash away the blood and the jeans and everything. This right here was what I was speaking about earlier. They had the camera footage inside. This is their house, and they have the footage inside there and showed the mother trying to destroy evidence.
And what they eventually saw was Crystal washing a pair of blue jeans in the sink earlier that day. And upon retrieval of those jeans, they and the sink they were washed in both tested positive for blood. At the end of their conversation, Aiden's parents didn't advise him to tell the truth, but instead advised him to choose a story and stick with it. Following the surveillance footage, Aiden's twisted story, and the evidence collected back at the Fuji household, Aiden was officially arrested and charged for second-degree murder, which eventually was changed to a charge of first-degree murder.
So let me tell you what you are charged with. You have been indicted by the St. Johns County Grand Jury on the charge of first-degree premeditated murder. That is a capital felony that is normally punishable by up to death or life imprisonment. In your case, because you are not yet 18 years old, death is not a possible sentence pursuant to the Florida and United States Supreme Courts, but this charge does carry a maximum penalty of life imprisonment. Do you understand the charge against you?
Yes, sir.
All right, there is probable cause to detain you on this charge pursuant to the indictment issued by the St. Johns County Grand Jury yesterday.
It turns out that Aiden was well known amongst his friends for joking about one day murdering someone, and he often told people that he would eventually be in jail for something big.
Yeah, I don't think that was a joke.
At the time of his arrest, Aiden's girlfriend, who remains unnamed, told officers how Aiden often described about murdering someone by dragging their bodies into the woods before stabbing them. And to add to these harrowing claims, she also described how Aiden often snuck up behind her with a knife before pretending to cut her throat. Tragically, this proves that Aiden often expressed his violent nature to family and friends. All the same, no attempts were ever made to quell these thoughts. Aiden evidently had violent fantasies, and according to his girlfriend,